Hi everyone, welcome to part 3 of how to set up your Haas robot package. I'm Corey Sullivan, and in this video we'll be setting up our parts table in the Template tab. The Template tab is a sub-tab of the Automatic Parts Loader tab in the Devices section of the Current Commands page. This is where you will tell your robot how your parts table is set up. Let's scroll down to the first row for us to fill out, Sequence Type. For Sequence Type, we have the option to choose between Simple and Custom modes. Custom mode is for advanced users and will be covered in a separate video. For now, let's stick to Simple mode. Next, we will select our part type. Part type is where you will tell the machine if you are loading a slug or puck type stock or bar stock. The next row has two options for you to pick between for your raw stock pickup method. The first option is called Table Grid, and will have the robot pick up stock in a simple grid pattern. When this option is selected, you will need to tell the robot the initial pickup location and the distance between the rows and columns of the grid for the robot to calculate where your raw stock pieces are located. The second option is Single Point. For this option, you will only teach the robot a single pickup location. For example, this can be used in conveyor loading, where each part will be picked up from the same location. Now we will need to select our finished part drop-off method. There are three options for you to choose between here: single table, dual table, and single point. Single table will drop off the parts in the same grid pattern that they were picked up from. Dual table is for dropping off the finished parts on a separate grid than the pickup table grid. The same row spacing, column spacing, and orientation will be used for the drop-off table as the pickup table. Single point will have the robot place the finished parts in the same exact location every time, useful for setting up methods such as conveyor unloading. On the next row, we will enter the number of parts we are going to stack in each pocket. When using stacked parts, you will set up the initial pickup location and above table positions like normal, using the bottom part in the first pocket. However, when we go to run our program, we will need to leave the first pocket empty. This is so the robot has somewhere to place the first set of finished parts. The robot will start by picking up the stacked stock in pocket 2, then stacking the finished parts in pocket 1. When pocket 2 is empty, the robot will then pick up the stock from pocket 3 and place the finished parts in pocket 2, and so on. You will need to enter the height of both your raw stock and your finished parts so that the robot knows where to pick up and place your stacked parts. If you are using the table grid pickup or single table drop-off methods, you will need to enter how many rows and columns you are using, as well as the distances between them for the next 4 rows. The distance between rows and columns can be different, but each row must be spaced evenly, and each column must also be spaced evenly. The orientation of your rows and columns will be based on the user frame that you are using, with the rows along the x-axis and the columns along the y-axis. I am going to be using the default template that comes with Haas Robot Package 1, so I'll use the dimensions listed on the machine layout drawing for these rows. The drawing tells me that I have 3 rows and 5 columns. The distance between the rows is 3.75 inches, and the distance between the columns is 4.5 inches. The next row is asking whether you want to enable or disable a part flip sequence. The last rows on the Template tab are for the mass of your raw stock, finished part, and if you have part flip enabled, the mass of the finished part after both operations are complete. The robot needs to know the weight of everything it is carrying to properly calculate its acceleration and deceleration speeds, as well as ensuring its positional accuracy. Now that our Template tab is all set up, let's head over to the Run Job tab so we can save our work. To save my job, I'll type in the name I want to give it. I'll name this job Tutorial Job. So I'll type that in, then press F3. A pop-up window will appear for you to select the directory to save your job in. Press Enter when you are in the location you want to save your job. With our Template tab complete and our job saved, we are ready to move on. Join me in the next video where we'll cover setting up your work holding in the Haas control.